Hey, what's happening? This is Isai Rodriguez, host of the Dadsplanation podcast, where I cater to the professional working man, 40 and above, who's looking to make positive changes to his health, lose weight, and become stronger overall through simple lifestyle changes. I'm here to share inspiration, tips, and proven lessons that I've personally learned and lived through in my 40 plus years on this beautiful blue planet. So today we'll start the discussion off by answering the question, do you work out alone or with a friend, in our first segment? And then we'll move on to our second segment and talk about protein powder. Does it actually work? And before we get into that, if you'd like to continue the conversation, then get on over to podcast.dadsplanation.com/VIP to get on the VIP Insiders community, where I share more entertaining, behind-the-scenes stories, tips, and hacks that'll keep you feeling younger each and every day. That's podcast.dadsplanation.com/VIP. Again, that's podcast.dadsplanation.com/VIP. Be in the know starting right now. Also, don't forget to rate me on Apple Podcasts or wherever it is that you're listening to this episode right now, and leave me a nice, fat, juicy 5-star review and some absolutely beautiful words of why you love the show so much. It really helps me get the word out, and it's honestly the one place where your vote truly matters. And now, let's move into our first segment, Healthy Conversations. And so, in this week's installment of Healthy Conversations, we're talking about or answering the question, do you work out alone or with a friend? You know, where do you stand on this question? So, I mean, here's, again, I always like to share my thoughts, and you're always welcome to your own thoughts, and I always, encourage you to share your thoughts. And so there's no doubt that, working out with a buddy can make exercising so much more fun than it is already. You know what I mean? So especially these days. I mean, we all know that 2020 was a different one in so many ways, on so many levels, and not good ones either, you know? The whole world was shocked by a pandemic, which is still very much on. Like, we're still in the middle of this shit. We're not out of the clear just yet. You know, my prediction, well, I'm actually thinking that by late August 2021, early September, that time frame, in that time frame, I'm predicting that we should all have the ability to leave our home without a mask and breathe freely, and start living again. But this is kind of a, moving target, as you probably suspected as of, last year. Anything can happen at any given moment. So, let's just sit back and see what happens. But that's my prediction as of this episode. And I guess time will tell for sure, but it's awesome to know that so many people have shifted their focus towards living a healthier lifestyle by exercising regularly and also eating foods that, can improve their overall health and immunity, and while they're at it, I really think that working out with a buddy or with a friend can really, this is a great idea, but of course, if you're the type of person that says that, working out alone is better for you, to get the best results for you, then hopefully what we're going to talk about now will change your mind. Hopefully, we'll see. Again, you're always entitled to your views, and I encourage you to remain solid and grounded in your views. And I don't know, let's see. But if it doesn't change your mind, I'd love to hear your opinion down in the comments. Good, bad, or indifferent. It doesn't matter. I'd love to hear it. So here we go. So going to the gym and working out with a buddy can make the whole exercising thing so much more fun than it already is. We already mentioned that. And on those days when you feel like low in the mood department, like mood wise, like when when you just don't feel like going to the gym or even getting out of bed, or just, you're just not feeling it, or you're stressed and don't feel like exercising at all, just call up a friend of yours and plan to do a workout together. Not only will it improve your mood, it'll also motivate you to give your best at the gym. You probably don't realize this, but you actually get to push your limits when working out with a buddy. We all know that exercise is great for so many reasons, right? And it's great for weight loss and weight management, heart health, and for your mental health. We all know that. But I also realized recently, thanks to this pandemic, of course, that we should find an exercise buddy or someone that, that we can relate to in the gym. And we should really try to exercise with this buddy every now and then. It doesn't have to be every time, but every now and then. Obviously it would be better if you go together all the time, but at a minimum, once or twice, or like I said, every now and then. And for so many reasons, but mostly for motivation, safety, and to keep your sanity, quite frankly, those are the most important reasons why, right there, why you would want to, work out with a buddy. You want to stay motivated, you want to keep safe, and maintain your sanity. That's basically what it boils down to right there. And me personally, I always thought that, working out alone would give me that, me time, quote unquote, that push to exercise efficiently. But the reality is that when you exercise with a friend or a buddy, like maybe someone who is fitter than you, somebody that's a little bit more in shape than you are, this acts as a great push, and you end up striving to do better, to push farther, to lift more weights. You know what I mean? It keeps you motivated. And really, the most effective part of working out with a buddy, as I said earlier, is that it makes the whole experience, the whole exercising thing, it just makes it all, more fun overall. And we all want to continue doing something that's fun for us, right? Who doesn't like doing that? You get to catch up face to face with that buddy, find out what they've got going on in their life right this second. You can talk about whatever it is you talk about, whether it's, work or family or different workout routines you've picked up since you've last spoke. But this one-on-one interaction lifts your mood. It gets you feeling significant and appreciated, and it also helps you get the most out of your workout, as I mentioned earlier. Because have you ever been at the gym by yourself and you're giving it you're giving it your all, but then suddenly you get a case of, mood kill, basically, for lack of better terms, really. Just something out of the blue zaps your energy dry. And that desire to continue on mentally drops from like 100 to 0. And you just put the weights down and then you basically say to yourself, that's it. I'll kill it the next time I'm in the gym. And then maybe you cut your workout 10 or 15 minutes earlier than expected. It's happened to me a lot of times, and that's why I bring it up. I don't know, fellas, am I alone in this? Let me know down in the comments if you're like me and you've cut your workout a little short because you just couldn't mentally push yourself past that point of not wanting to continue on for your, whatever reason that was. Drop it in the comments now, and then go and find a workout buddy and enjoy your workouts to the fullest. Happy fitness, y'all. And so with all that said and done, let's move on to our second segment, Mighty Man. So in this week's installment of Mighty Man, we're talking about, we're going to talk about protein powder. I love protein powder, but does it actually work? That's the question we're addressing today on this installment of Mighty Man. And so, as we know, protein found in the foods we eat can help your body in so many ways. It helps to maintain your bones and muscles. It repairs tissue and even helps your digestion. Protein has several fitness and weight management benefits. We kind of know all this, it can help you build muscle mass. It fills you up more so that you eat less. That's always a plus. helps your body burn fat and recover more quickly after a workout. And, depending on your unique situation, like your age, your sex, level of activity, all of this will determine your specific protein needs. And while we're talking about specific protein needs, let's go over the recommended daily allowance, or the RDA, of protein. So the current RDA, or the recommended daily allowance of protein for adults, is in the range of 10 to 35% of your overall calorie intake for the day. So basically, for reference purposes, if you were to consume, let's say 2,000 calories in a day, then that means that between 200 and 700 of those 2,000 calories should come from protein. Now, this recommendation is simply a baseline and most likely will increase if you're an athlete, or basically exercising more than usual or more than the normal. So if you're hitting the gym a lot, more often than not, you're hitting the weights, you're exercising, you're active, you're running, you're all that, like the more of that physical activity that you have in your day, then obviously the more protein you're going to need for recovery. And also, if you're eating a diet that's basically 100% plant-based, because I know that's a big thing these days. A lot of people are, they're going vegetarian and vegan, like they're going 100% plant-based, and that's cool, But if that's you, then this recommendation will increase on top of that. So if you're active and on a plant-based diet, then this 10 to 35% calorie intake is going to increase. You're going to have that. You're going to need a lot more protein than most. In fact, some health experts also suggest that higher protein intake for adults 65 or older, and they recommend this because, like, people in that age bracket, they naturally lose muscle mass a lot faster. And although most Americans get enough protein, some might actually need more, they're currently eating. Obviously, again, if you're 100% plant-based, or if you're very active, the more exercise you have, the more protein you're going to need. And again, if you're plant-based and you're active, then that kind of doubles your protein needs. So, to help get more protein, most people will buy protein powders to get that protein into their diet. And they'll usually mix them with water or juice or milk, depending on their tastes, and they'll make a protein shake or a smoothie for easier consumption. Goes down smoother, for lack of better terms. And these days, protein powders can be made of different sources, and depending on your tastes and tolerances, and even food allergies, you can choose one source over the other. And here's what I mean by when I say source. I'm talking about milk-based, or what's better known as whey or casein protein, or is it casein protein? I can't remember. There's also hemp protein, protein from peas, rice and soy, just to name a few. And like we mentioned earlier, people using protein powders include those who want to increase their muscle mass, recover from injury, or they're not getting enough protein, or they're getting enough protein, but they don't like to cook, or they have a poor appetite, or if they just want to lose body fat. And we've heard these claims before, but do protein powders actually work? Well, when used correctly, protein powders can be effective to build muscle mass and provide more protein in your diet, But again, when used correctly, those are the operative words. But the use of protein powder alone won't magically increase muscle mass. That's the secret, if there is one, It's a combination of eating protein and carbs together and trying that together with strength training that'll really pack on the muscle pounds. Protein powders alone, they're not going to do the job, They can also help, like, busy athletes who are training for God knows how many hours. And then, they just kind of find it much easier to have a protein shake rather than making preparing a whole meal, or, a protein packed snack. Because the true beauty of protein powders is this. you can basically mix it into any liquid or food that suits your needs and your taste, as we mentioned. So again, I mean, you can mix that into oatmeal, you can mix it into pancake batter, pudding, soups, smoothies, obviously, Spaghetti sauce is another good one, especially if you're using pea protein. Oh, and let's not forget that all-purpose yogurt. And here's the thing, most of these are super simple to make. There's really nothing to do other than mix a scoop or two into whatever your base of choice is, The spaghetti sauce is a good one because you get that double whammy of protein and carbs all in one. You can even just have the pasta with sauce and still get plenty of protein in your body. You know what I mean? If you're adding the protein powder into the sauce, you can just have pasta and sauce. You don't have to worry about cooking the meat. It's a lot quicker. It's a lot easier. Obviously, getting the protein from lean beef is probably a little better, I suppose, but it's an option. That's what I'm here for, to give you those options, to let you know, get your mind thinking about what it is you could do to make these little subtle changes in your life that'll make it easier to live a healthier life. You might have to play around with the amount of protein powder that, we're talking about here, that you add, but it really gives you a good 1-2 punch of carbs and protein, the whole spaghetti sauce and pasta. So think about that. The best time to use a protein powder of any type of protein is within 30 minutes after a workout. So if you have a smoothie in your gym bag, as I generally do, you can kill your workout and then have a delicious protein-packed banana and strawberry smoothie. You get a little bit of the carbs from the sugar, not too much. It's a little natural sugar from the banana and the strawberry, and then it's packed with the protein powder. Oh, beautiful. But anyway, I love my protein shakes, but I also love to play devil's advocate every now and then. And so let it be known, again, that you can achieve the same goals of muscle recovery, losing body fat, and building muscle mass with food-based sources of protein instead of, the powder. You can totally go that route. Actually, some good food sources of protein include things like if you have plain Greek yogurt, if you get at least 5 ounces, I think it is. I think that's the magical number, is that is at least 5 ounces of plain Greek yogurt. That has a good amount of protein for recovery purposes, or just in general. If you're just generally trying to bulk up in the protein department. Also, not quite a full cup of cottage cheese. I think it's 3/4 of a cup of cottage cheese. Again, another good protein-packed snack. You could also go, if you want to take it a little further, 3 ounces of tuna gives you that protein pack that you need after a workout. Also a 3-ounce serving of lean chicken or beef or fish. It has to be lean. That's the key. Any of these choices, they'll give you around 20 grams of lean protein, and let's not forget the beans, that's also a great choice. You have beans, eggs, grains like quinoa, that's awesome stuff right there. And then there's, the nuts and other seeds. And again, all great options to get that protein into your diet so you can burn more fat and build more muscle, basically. And now let's talk about some of the risks of protein, because there's always risks with everything. We spoke about some good benefits, but just like anything else in life, there's also risks, or cons, as they say, pros and cons. But here's the deal. There's really not that many cons. There's not that many cons to worry about. That's basically it. I mean, yeah, there's some reasons to be cautious about the use of protein powders, but overall, they're safe and a great way to get protein into your diet. Now, that being said, it's possible to consume too much protein. This is a thing, and it's not good. It leads to dehydration or even damage to your kidneys and liver. So definitely something to keep in mind there. And not only that, but over consuming protein won't help you build muscles any faster. It's not like you work a little bit hard and maybe you have, instead of one protein shake, you have a double dose of protein shakes. That's not going to help you recover any faster. It's not going to help you build any muscles any faster. It's just the bottom line. That's the way it works or doesn't work. It's also possible to overconsume consume protein from powder or food sources and not get enough of the other foods that your body needs, like vegetables and fruits, whole grains, nuts, and the seeds that you need. You know what I mean? So if you're consuming too much protein, then your body's going to crave less or need less of the other things or the other foods that your body truly needs. Like, again, like the vegetables, the fruits, the grains, and the other nuts and seeds and stuff like that. And so let's keep this in mind and not overly pack your diet with protein, because that's not exactly a good thing. Remember, the numbers are between 10 and 35%. We're not bumping that to 20 and 70%. You know, that's way too much, you know, or even just a little bump. You know, you want to keep in the range. This is the range of your total calorie intake that should be protein, 10 to 35%. And it's also, remember that if you're working out more than normal, you may want to increase this number a bit, you know? And if you plan on getting that protein from protein powder, then I got some tips for you. I have 7 tips actually to keep in mind if you plan on packing the protein powder in your gym bag. And so the first thing I have, the first little tip here is to check with your doctor first if you have kidney or liver disease or any diet that requires protein restriction. You know, again, too much protein could cause damage, especially if you have kidney or liver disease. You know, your doctor or nutritionist, like, they can help you know if you should avoid, you know, using protein powders altogether or not. You know, they'll let you know. So that's the first thing. Be conscientious of your body. Know your limitations. You know, yeah, protein powder is good. Protein is good. Your body needs it. You know, but if you're in this position where you have, you know, kidney or liver disease or something going on otherwise that prohibits you from, you know, ingesting so much protein, keep that in mind, you know, and maybe stay away from it. So that's the first tip. The second tip I have is, you know, look for a product that has a third-party verification symbol. Now, what does this mean? So protein powders and other supplements, you know, they're not regulated by the FDA. You know that. We all know that. And so a third-party verification ensures at minimum that the product contains what it says on the label. You know, this is important because some powders may contain ingredients that aren't listed on the label. You know, things like heavy metals like arsenic, lead, and mercury. You know, we've spoken about mercury in the past, but this stuff is not good and it's not good for your body. So keep an eye out for those, you know, the third-party verification to make sure the label or what's in the actual powder is listed on the label. Gives you a little sense of security. So for example, a study performed in 2018 from a non-profit group called the Clean Label Project tested 134 protein powders and found that most of them had detectable levels of heavy metal in them. Think about that. I'm not talking about the heavy metal rock that most of us listen to. I'm talking about, you know, we're talking about bad crap, like the bad shit, the arsenic, the lead, like I mentioned, you know, and more than half in that study contained BPA, which, if you don't know, is a chemical found in plastic food liners. That shit is also killer. You know, heavy metals and BPA are associated with brain damage and cancer over long-term use. So, needless to say, these are bad things to be ingesting when you're trying to build muscle, when you're trying to live healthy, you know? So again, look for symbols such as GMP, USP, or NSF. These are the 3 that I look for. You know, if it doesn't have that label on it, then I generally don't even consider it. You know what I mean? And, you know, speaking of considering, we're going to move on to tip number 3 is consider your food allergies before you buy. So again, read the label in advance so that you know what's in it. You know, so for instance, if you have a dairy allergy or you're lactose intolerant, you know, you'll want to avoid whey or casein protein powder. You know, again, is that casein or casein? I can't remember. I don't know. If you know how to, drop it in the comments if you know how to pronounce it properly. Pronunciation is not my forte. Let me know. Drop it in the comments. Is it casein or casein? I don't know. How do you even write that? I don't know. Anyway, let's move on to the 4th tip. Try a sample before you buy, if you can. You know, if at all possible, give it sample it, give it a time. Because think about it, protein powders are often sold in these large ass tubs, and so they can be expensive. First of all, you know, that means like you can easily end up being stuck with a lot of unused product if you don't like the taste of it, you know. And then what do you do with 49 pounds of protein that you can't stand? Like you can't, it makes you sick. Think about that. Try a sample before you buy if you can. That's ideal, you know. I don't know. I try to do that, or at least get people's reviews on it. You know, ask around. Like, hey, have you tried this brand, this protein powder before? Have you tried that? What do you think? How does it taste? You know, at a bare minimum, if you can't taste it, you know, but you're really, really digging it, or you know, or you really want to try it, ask around. You know. Tip number 5, look for a powder that doesn't have too many added ingredients. So some brands have a lot of added sugars, added artificial flavors, thickeners, or high doses of like added vitamins and minerals that you basically don't need. You know, keep an eye out for that, because what you need and want realistically in a protein powder, yeah, you guessed it, man, you guys are smart. What you want is protein, not artificial flavors, not sugars, not thickeners, no vitamin, protein. That's it. You know, not all that other stuff that they like to sneak in there. So keep an eye out for that. Make sure it doesn't have too many. I mean, most brands, like they add a little bit of sugar or flavoring. Okay, you know, it is what it is. But you don't want a ton of that shit in there, you know? Tip number 6, select unflavored or vanilla flavored powders. So this is cool because you'll get a lot more bang for your buck, as they say, out of these unflavored or vanilla flavored powders. They're much more versatile for adding to other foods, period. You know, that's basically it. Because if you're trying to mix it up, you know, add it to water, add it to milk, add it to some fruit and whatever. If it's unflavored or vanilla flavored, you know, like you can mix it with a whole bunch of things, you know. It's a huge one for me, really, because you know how I enjoy variety in my diet. So if I have a protein powder that I can essentially mix into almost everything, well, the sky's the limit, as they say, you know what I mean? I have endless possibilities, endless choices. Tip number 7. If you choose a vegan protein powder, opt for one that mixes multiple sources of protein. Why? This is because some vegan proteins, you know, like the rice protein in particular, you know, it doesn't contain all the amino acids needed for proper recovery. And if you're wondering, amino acid is what protein is made out of, period. So a better choice for a vegan protein powder would be a mix of rice and pea protein combined. So this kind of feeds off of the other 2 tips, looking for that third-party validation symbol and also keeping an eye on the ingredients, like what's in it. And now, once you've chosen the perfect protein powder for you, let's keep this last tip in mind when taking your protein. You'll want to spread your protein intake evenly throughout the day. This is a bonus tip. You know, as many people will eat foods low in protein earlier in the day and then a big portion at dinner. And I used to do this all the time. I figured the carbs in the morning would give you, you know, more energy throughout the day. You have more time to burn it off. But in actuality, it's better to spread it out throughout the day. This goes for carbs and protein, really, but more importantly, for the protein. You see, your body can't store and process large amounts of protein at a time. So for this reason, you'll want to break down your intake into smaller chunks throughout the day. You know what I mean? So with all that said, that's it, you guys. That's my show for today. I hope you found some valuable information here. And if nothing else, I hope I've entertained you for a few minutes and was able to bring you a little manly sunshine to your day. Thanks for taking some time out of your day to listen to me. It's very much appreciated. On next week's episode, we'll be talking about how the food you're eating might be affecting your sleep. So you definitely don't want to miss out on that. And if you'd like to continue the conversation with me, then get on over to podcast.daspination.com/VIP. to get on the VIP Insiders community where I share even more raw behind the scenes stories, tips, and hacks that'll keep you feeling younger and younger each and every day. That's podcast.daspination.com/VIP. Again, that's podcast.daspination.com/VIP. Be in the know starting right now. Also, don't forget to rate me on Apple Podcasts or wherever it is that you're listening to this episode right now. And leave me a nice, fat, juicy 5-star review and some absolutely beautiful words of why you love the show so much. It really helps me get the word out, and it's honestly the one place where your vote truly matters. Until the next chat, take care now. Bye.